Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Thank you so much, Arwa, for your strong speech and words. Before I introduce the next guest, I ask that you all take a couple steps in closer. That way you can all hear. Thank you. I also want to thank the numerous organizations who have lent BC and USJ their support and helped make this event possible. Members from Langara Students for Justice in Palestine, Anak Bayan South Vancouver Richmond, the Working Youth League, and United in Struggle joined BC and USJ last week to make the powerful signs and banners for this vigil. Vancouver Healthcare Workers for Palestine, Canadian Nurses for Justice in Palestine, and BC Physicians Against Genocide have all endorsed this vigil and are working alongside us to organize the healthcare sector. We also extend our thanks to Free Palestine BC, Free Palestine Tri-Cities, Independent Jewish Voices, and Friends of the Filipino People in Struggle, who have all endorsed and helped promote this event. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Left Coast Labor Choir. They sing on picket lines, at conferences, rallies, and on the concert stage. Anywhere they can bring the joy and inspiration of music to the labor and social justice movements. Nurses, doctors, surgeons, and international aid workers from Spain, Australia, Poland, the United Kingdom, the United States, and Canada. Today we are gathered to remember and grieve the loss of those killed by Israel. We also have some blank pages on the wall if anyone feels moved to write the names of anyone that they know or would like to remember today. USJ is a grassroots organization whose aim is to engage, educate, and organize nurses to take action against the violence of settler colonialism. We know that Canada is a settler colonial state with a history of anti-Indigenous, anti-Black, and anti-Asian racism. Canada continues to occupy stolen land and oppress the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. Canada also engages in imperialism and the oppression of Indigenous people abroad. This is especially evident in Canada's complicity in the genocide of the Palestinian people. As healthcare workers, we know that freedom and liberation are essential for healthy individuals and communities. As such, healthcare workers have an obligation to participate in decolonization, anti-imperialism, and social justice work, from Turtle Island to Palestine. Next up, we will be hearing from Arwa Shurab. Arwa Shurab is a passionate Palestinian leadership consultant and coach, dedicated to empowering individuals and organizations to reach their fullest potential. She is the founder of Her Voice, an NGO focused on empowering women to have equal opportunities for leadership, representation, and empowerment. Arwa holds a master's degree in global leadership. She is a certified life coach and master life coach. Arwa is an advocate for Palestinian rights and aspirations and is deeply committed to fostering positive change and promoting social justice.
Good evening, everyone. Well, let's start with free
Palestine!
free
Palestine!
Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for showing up with your hearts open, for standing on the side of justice, for honoring the lives that the world always tries to erase. We gather in the shadow of unimaginable violence. We gather in the backdrop of a genocide. And yet, even here in our gathering today, we show resilience in our mourning, in our grief. This is a kind of resistance. Because every time we say their names, every time we remember those the world would rather erase, we are refusing to let this genocide be buried in silence. I wish we didn't have to keep on holding vigils like this. I wish we didn't have to keep pleading for the world to see our humanity. I wish we didn't have to keep on doing this for the world to see our doctors, our children, our men, our women, our people as humans and as worthy of empathy. But here we are again. So tonight, We do what the media fails to do. We carry the truth. We say their names. We tell their stories, and we bow in deep gratitude and honor to those heroes. When the people that wear white coats, the doctors, the nurses, the healthcare workers who have sworn to heal, to protect, to preserve life, become the targets of this genocide, when ambulances are bombed, when hospitals are flattened, when paramedics are shot while carrying stretchers, when doctors are tortured, detained, and killed, this is not collateral damage. This is a targeted campaign. This is war against life itself. This is a genocide.
Shame!
In Gaza alone, over 1,308 healthcare workers have been killed. Doctors, nurses, midwives, medics, 115 civil defense workers, entire hospital departments erased. And in Lebanon, just months ago, Israeli attacks damaged and destroyed 67 hospitals and 56 primary health care centers. At least more than 222 medical and emergency workers were killed in just over a year. Let's remember them forever. May we never ever forget these heroes. In Gaza, doctors are detained without charge, taken without reason, families left in agonizing silence.
Shame!
Dr. Mohammed Abeid, missing for more than 115 days. Dr. Mohammed Abu Musa, held for more than 367 days. Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya, detained for more than 115 days until this day. Dr. Ahmed Mohanna, disappeared over 429 days ago. These are not just numbers. These are shattered lives. Clinics left without leaders, families living in unimaginable horrors. This is a systematic attack on the very people who heal and preserve life.
Shame!
Try releasing the hostages.
That is not all. There are many, many more hidden in the darkness of Israeli prisons. Families waiting by the door, praying for any word, any sign of life. According to Healthcare Workers Watch, a Palestinian NGO, at least 162 medical staff remain in Israeli detention, including some of Gaza's most senior physicians. Another 24 are still missing after being taken from hospitals during the war. Again, these are not just numbers. These are some of God's most gifted healers, educated and abducted from their operating rooms, their ICUs, vanished without charges, without lawyers, without their families even knowing where they are. But some stories pierce through, not because the world was listening, but because we refused to let them be forgotten. Dr. Adnan Albursh, a name I ask you to carry in your heart tonight. Head of orthopedics at Al-Shifa Hospital, man whose hands healed thousands, a surgeon who operated under siege without electricity, without anesthesia, through the screams and the smoke. He moved from hospital to hospital as they were bombed. From Al-Shifa to the Indonesian hospital to Al-Auda hospital, he stayed with his patients. That kind of courage is sacred. He was arrested in December. Months later, he was found dead inside Over prison. He was left in the prison yard, half naked, bleeding, until death. He was unable to stand. This man who gave his life to medicine was tortured and likely sexually assaulted to death. This is how they treat our brightest lights.
Shame!
And then there is Dr. Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya, head of orthopedics at Kamal Azwan Hospital. When Israeli forces ordered evacuation, he refused to abandon his patient. He stayed. He wanted to care for the children, so they punished him. They killed his son at the hospital gates. Let that sink in for a minute. He buried his boy in the hospital courtyard and then returned to treat his patients. Later, he walked out of that hospital alone, unarmed, wearing his coat, his cape, to face the tanks all alone. A soldier shook his hand on camera. A gesture meant to look merciful, a sanitized to work cry. But behind the scenes, he was tortured, beaten, and detained for months without charges. That handshake was not peace. That was performance. That was filthy Israeli propaganda. Now, we mourn one more. Dr. Ala Al-Najjar. Just this Friday, a pediatrician, a mother of 10, on Friday morning, she kissed her children goodbye. Her baby Seydan was still sleeping. She walked into Nasser Hospital to tend to other people's babies because that's who she was. Hours later, 7 of her children arrived at the ER lifeless from an Israeli airstrike. 2 more were under the rubble. Only 1 child survived. Her husband, also a doctor, is now hospitalized in very critical condition. This family gave everything to save lives, and in return, their own lives were destroyed. Not one of these attacks has been punished. Not one of these attacks were held accountable. So let me say this clearly. That targeting of healthcare workers is not a side effect. It's not a tragic accident. It's a war crime. It is genocide. Yes. And they are targeting these heroes because they don't want Palestinians to be remembered as heroes. They don't want our doctors to be seen as the honorable, selfless people they are. They want to erase every symbol of Palestinian strength. They want Palestinians to be remembered only in humiliation and in humanity, not in dignity, not in service, not in sacrifice. But we won't let that happen! While government stays silent, we will not. We will say their names. We will hoard their stories close. We will honor their legacies, not only with candles and tears, but with truth, with protest, and with unwavering commitment to justice. So tonight, we stand for Dr. Adnan, for Dr. Hussam, for Dr. Ala, and for every name that we don't know, for every person that is missing, for every child orphan, for every stolen soul. We will not forget. We will not be silent. We will not stop until justice is served. Thank you.
No time to wait. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. You gotta put one foot under the other and be brave, love, brother. One foot under the other and be brave, love. Gotta put one foot under the other and be brave, love, brother. One foot under the other and be brave, love. Lift up your eyes. Lift up your eyes. Don't do it fair. Don't do it fair. Don't drop the head. Look up ahead. Look out there. Look out there. Got the one foot from the other. And lead with one foot. One foot from the other. And lead with love. Got the one foot from the other. And lead with one foot. One foot from the other. And lead with love. And lead with love. And lead with love. Nation, we breathe together. We breathe together. We breathe together. Stop the occupation. We breathe together. We breathe together. We breathe together. Stop the occupation. We march together. We march together. We march together. Stop the occupation. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Stop the occupation. Ceasefire. 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 Stop the occupation. Ceasefire. 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 Stop the occupation. We breathe together. We breathe together. We breathe together. Stop the occupation. You are. Now the kids are dying and starving day by day. In unions and communities, this is what we say. Oh, which side are you on? 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 Canada, Australia, Palestine are entitled to their land. Oh, doesn't seem to know that it's no longer Canada. Wanting an embargo. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Lines, demonstrations, and many of your organizations would like to have some of our voices with you. Let us know. Thanks.
So what do you think? How can we support Palestinians? From our side, what can we do?
Well, here in Canada, what we can do is talk to our politicians, our MPs, our MLAs, and make them understand what's truly happening, so they can bring our voice to Ottawa and to the Parliament, and basically make some changes in the policy. So we've been calling on, banning Israeli products. We're calling on stopping arms export. So there's so many things that the politicians can do here in Canada. But if you're not in a country that has that democratic system, then what you can do is amplify Palestinian voices, use your platforms, work as a reporter, and just share those stories and amplify those stories, because the more they are shared, the more they're talked about, the more noise they're going to make.
Thank you so much, Arwa, for your time, and I really appreciate all the efforts you guys are doing, and it's really helpful, and thanks a lot.
Thank you for coming.
May Allah help Palestinians and
Inshallah.
see the Palestinian.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum.